right, news coming in from Srinagar. What we're getting to here, at least 10 people have got injured in clashes between police and daily wage employees of Jammu and Kashmir state government in Srinagar. Hundreds of daily wage employees of the state assembled in Lal Chowk where protests were carrying on. The police used lathi charge to disperse the protesting crowds. These employees are demanding regularization in state government as they are claiming they have completed 7 years as daily wagers, and as per government policy, they need to be regularized. I want to cut across to Shujaul Haq, my colleague. He's on the phone line. He's going to talk us through this news break. Shuja, can you give us details? Have things calmed down a little? What's the latest that you're picking up?
Well, Preeti, these contractual workers actually stormed the Lal Chowk area of Srinagar today. Basically, they have been protesting against their demands of regularization of services and release of their pending dues. This is not the first time that they've carried out these protests, but it's not just with this government. Their issues have been the same with the last government as well, and it seems that very little is being done when it comes to redressal of these issues. And today, as you can see in these visuals, the police had to resort to tear gas, smoke shelling, and disperse the mob who were trying to protest.
Right. Shuja, this is not the first time. This is not the first time that we have seen, these kind of protests where this issue is concerned. We saw them even when Umar Abdullah was in office.
But that's right. This is not the first time that these issues have been coming up. The issues of these employees were there in the last government as well, and they seem to be there in this government as well. And very little seems to be done in terms of a permanent solution or resolution of their issues and problems. And as you can see, these visuals...
A fair bit of pandemonium, Shuja. You're talking about these visuals, a fair bit of chaos and pandemonium. The police actually had to resort to even tear gas shelling is what we are seeing right now. Have things calmed down, and is anybody hurt?
Well, we haven't gotten any reports of anybody being hurt, but certainly, as you can see, these are very violent visuals. The police had to resort to a force to disperse these people from Lal Chowk. They were trying to take a march towards the Secretariat, but they were stopped even before they could, go towards the Chief Minister's office. But the larger point still remains there. It is these employees who have been continuously asking for redressal of these issues, and the government seems to be in no mood to take this seriously. And these employees have vowed that they will continue protesting till the time the government finds out some sort of...
What is the official government stand of the PDP-BJP coalition?
So that the official stand of the government has been that they're trying to find out ways and means of addressing these issues. Remember, this is not a very easy thing to address as well. There are hundreds of thousands of these employees who are on the contract basis, and regularization of them, all of them, would mean a fair amount of resources the state will have to earmark for it. So that's something that the government will have to look into. They'll have to find out a proper mechanism in which their issues will be addressed.
All right, appreciate you joining us. My colleague Shujaul Haq reporting on these disturbing visuals coming in from Srinagar. Well, this was the Lal Chowk area of Srinagar. It is stormed by these officials. They are daily wagers which want permanency. Now, the latest that we are getting in is that force has been used. You can see these visuals, tear gas shelling. There has also been water cannons, and even a mild lathi charge have been used. Now, these are daily employees. They are looking for a contract. They are demanding regularization in state government, and they have been promised this before. And they were demanding the regularization in the state government, as they are claiming they have completed the tenure of 7 years as daily wagers, and as per the government policy, they are yet to be regularized. Shujaul Haq, my colleague, is still on the phone line with me. Shuja, have things calmed down, or are things still reaching ahead in terms of crowd control? And what are the kind of crowds that we are looking at? Because these seem to be hundreds of surging government employees. All right, we seem to have lost Shuja. We're going to try and reconnect. But these are the visuals that we're getting in. Things clearly reaching ahead. The police had to resort to lathi charge. They had to resort to tear gas shelling, even water cannon. When things reached completely at break point, you can see quickly things spinning out of control, out of hands, as these employees once again staging protests at the Lal Chowk, the iconic Lal Chowk of Srinagar. Now, these are hundreds of daily wage employees of the state assembling at Lal Chowk. They were protesting for their demand, which was regularization. The police has used lathi charge to disperse these protesting employees. These employees are demanding regularization in state government, as they are claiming they have completed the tenure of 7 years as daily wagers, and as per the government policy, they are yet to be regularized. Let's bring in Deputy Editor Shiv Aru. He's on the phone line with us. We're also going to try and connect to Shuja. Shiv, what is the latest that we're picking up? Have things calmed down? Are things under control? Because the visuals that are filtering in, things are clearly spinning out of hand.
Definitely still very tense in that central part of Srinagar, Preeti. Like you rightly pointed out, contractual workers who've been protesting for a long time now from several different departments, demanding regularization of their employment, scrapping of, contractual terms which they have been, for a very long time saying are unfair. Remember that the government in power right now, that's just a few months old, the BJP, PDP government had in fact during its election campaign even made assurances, to this particular, these particular people in Jammu and Kashmir about a promise of, looking into this matter very closely and working very quickly to get these contracts updated into regularized employment. That hasn't happened. It's an extremely emotive issue because the number of people there are out there, who are affected by a lack of decision on this front, and that's why you're seeing these protests. Not the first time they've happened. This one has turned particularly violent, as we can see.
Abject pandemonium there, Shiv. We're just going to ask our producers to amp up that volume on these protests, because you can actually hear the boom of the tear gas shelling as well. Shiv, we are also joined by our colleague Shuja, who's on the phone line with us. Shuja, you were giving us details. Are things under control right now? How recent are these visuals? Because can you give us more details on this?
Well, these visuals are just very recent. In fact, just half an hour back is when this protest happened here. All these employees had gathered in one of the parks in Lal Chowk. It's a very famous park. It's called Pratap Park. And, most of them were being addressed by their leaders, and following which they had the program of marching towards the civil secretariat.
Shuja, how has this protest been politicized? Because usually earlier on we had seen when Omar Abdullah was in office, when they were protesting, it took immediate political color.
See, there's always this element of politicization when it comes to these protests. As you were pointing out, in last government, there was a lot of politicization on the protests that were happening by employees on different issues. And there's certainly a chance of this being politicized as well. The opposition would definitely like to sort of garner support on the issues of these employees. But at the end of the day, one has to remember that the core issues still remain.
Is anyone reported hurt?
There are few people who have been reported hurt, some minor injuries, but thankfully no casualties or a major injury has happened to anyone. A lot of people have been taken into custody by the police, detained for a short time, and the police has managed to disperse this crowd that had gathered in the Lal Chowk area of Srinagar. But their issues still remain there, and with no sign of any resolution, it's pretty clear that these people will keep on coming back and protesting on these issues.
All right.
Like they've been saying that.
Right, appreciate you joining us, Shuja. We are going to keep coming back to you for further updates on that story. As Shuja clarifying there, things have stemmed a little. The police taking control of the situation, but not before things had come to a head. And these visuals speak louder than words there, where the police had to resort to lathi charge, water cannon and tear gas shelling.
What?